Good evening, Your Honor. Let me take the court back to shortly before midnight on July 29th of 2023 to the peaceful street of South Poplar Avenue in Bliss, Nirvana, where families fast asleep in this neighborhood had no idea of the devastating fire about to erupt, but erupt it did. For after midnight struck, Gordon's Paint and Supplies burst into flames. A fire so severe ensued that citizens could see its blazes from several miles away, forced to look on in horror at the 4-alarm fire that ensued. Lingering smoke and a community sorrow alike hung in the air for days to come. Perhaps the only thing more tragic than the fire itself and the danger it posed was the evidence which showed that this fire was no accident, but rather a selfish attempt to cash in on an insurance claim. Your Honor, my name is Ariana Neal, and today me and my co-counsel, Isabel Alfarano and Anastasia Alfarano, represent the people of the state of Nirvana. Today the people will demonstrate beyond a reasonable doubt that Lindsay Gordon is guilty of arson in the 3rd degree, in violation of Section 150.10, Subdivision 1 of the Penal Law of the State of Nirvana. Now this law provides that a person is guilty of arson in the 3rd degree when they intentionally damage a building by starting a fire. Today the people will satisfy the elements of this charge through testimony and proof submitted before this court through 3 witnesses. Today the people will call Kelly Severide, played by Bryn Bartlett, Pat Wheeler, played by Elatea Russell, and Tracy Bickle, played by Natalie Spooner. Our first witness will be experienced arson investigator Kelly Severide. She'll tell you how she engaged in a careful investigation of this tragic event. Their testimony today will show that this fire was no accident nor naturally occurring, but rather the combination of an accelerant and some kind of lighter. Perhaps the very lighter that Kelly Severide witnessed firsthand on the person of Lindsay Gordon. Moreover, Detective Severide's testimony today will reveal a fatal flaw in Lindsay Gordon's case: the lack of an alibi for a key 30-minute window surrounding this fire's inception. Additionally, prosecution will call Gordon's ex-business partner, Tracy Bickle. Now, Tracy Bickle will testify today that these poor financial choices are nothing new for the defendant, Lindsay Gordon. Gordon not only ran their previous real estate company into the ground, but it appears they've done it again with their paint store. Even more compelling, today Tracy Bickle will detail for the court their eyewitness testimony of an individual they witnessed at the scene of the fire, around the time of the fire, with mannerisms extremely consistent with Lindsay Gordon's. This person was also wearing a baseball hat. Interestingly enough, Lindsay Gordon was wearing a baseball hat that same night. As also seen in People v. Sharon Vankensten, today Tracy Bickle's testimony can be seen as a permissive inference. The sighting of an individual around the scene of the crime at the time of the crime allows Tracy Bickle to infer that this person was committed or involved in this crime. The finder of fact can also reasonably infer that this person was involved in the crime based on this eyewitness testimony. Our last witness will be Pat Wheeler, a prior GPS employee. Today their testimony will unveil the great motive behind Lindsay Gordon's misdeeds, showing that their store, GPS, was on the verge of bankruptcy and that Lindsay Gordon was desperate for a way out. Here too, the facts provided on this case closely mirror the case of Sharon v. Vankensten again. In this case, a defendant was proven guilty based on the evidence of a pending insurance claim. Today, the court will also learn about Lindsay Gordon's multi-million-dollar insurance claim that they filed a mere 24 hours after this fire had ensued. The smoke hadn't even cleared before they chose to seize a payday. Your Honor, the evidence today will reveal that Lindsay Gordon, driven another business into failure, chose to endanger their community by setting fire to a store filled with highly flammable paint, rather than facing the consequences of their own misdeeds. Today the people carry the burden of proof on this case, proof beyond a reasonable doubt. This means that the evidence must show that there is no other reasonable explanation for how this fire occurred. Your Honor, today the people submit that the testimony and evidence show motive, means, and no alibi to shield Lindsay Gordon from their misdeeds, such that no reasonable person would deny which direction the evidence clearly points in. Today the defense will attempt to make weak arguments, but they will be nowhere close to sufficient or even reasonable. They may try to put the blame on Pat Wheeler, an employee who was wrongfully fired by Lindsay Gordon, but they will be left with nothing but rumors and uncorroborated testimony to try and shield from Gordon's misdeeds. Your Honor, I have faith that you will not fall for their false attempts to steer you from the true facts of what happened the night of July 28th to 29th of 2023, and for all these reasons, the people ask that you hear the evidence put forth before this court today and find Lindsay Gordon guilty of arson in the 3rd degree. Thank you, Your Honor.